Shri Gurubhyo Namaha children, I welcome you all to our online English class. In today's class, we are going to be seeing a lesson from your Footprints Without Feet book children. The lesson is Boli, written by K.A. Abbas. Before going into the lesson, let us understand about the author children. K.A. Abbas, was a film director, a novelist and a journalist and also a screenwriter. He was born, in 7th June 1914 and he died on 1st June 1984. And his famous works are My World is Village and The 13th Victim. So let us go into the lesson. This lesson is about a girl, how she is raised and what are all the difficulties which she faces in her life. Her name was Sulekha, but since her childhood, everyone had been calling her Boli, the simpleton. So here we are introduced to the girl straight away in the story, and we come to know there is a girl whose name is Sulekha, but she has been called by others as Boli since her childhood. And Boli means somebody who is very ignorant, somebody who is very simple. So this girl, even though she was named Sulekha, everybody used to call her only Boli. She was the fourth daughter of Nambedar Ramlal. When she was 10 months old, she had fallen off the cot on her head and perhaps it had damaged some part of her brain. So when Boli was 10 months old, she fell off the cot. Cot is a bed. She fell off the bed and it hit her head and there was some damage that happened to her brain. That was why she remained a backward child and came to be known as Boli, the simpleton. And because of the damage, because of the hit on the head, she had some damage in her brain and she was not a normal child. So everybody chose to call her Boli. At birth, the child was very fair and pretty. But when she was 2 years old, she had an attack of smallpox. When this girl was born, she was just like a normal child and she was even more pretty, more fair, and she was looking so nice when she was born. And when she was 2 years old, she was attacked by chicken pox or smallpox. Only the eyes were saved, but the entire body was permanently disfigured by deep black pock marks. So all of us know smallpox is a kind of a disease. It causes marks on your pimples on the skin, and when it leaves also it creates a permanent mark on the skin. So the feature of this girl was completely disfigured because of the pock marks. Little Sulekha could not speak till she was 5, and when at last she learned to speak, she stammered. So you could see how many problems this girl has undergone since her childhood. When she was 10 months old, she fell off the bed, and when she was 2 years, she was attacked by smallpox. So everything was creating some damage to her body, and these damages were irreparable. And this girl was during the stages of development, and when she was attacked during that time, the damage it created was irreparable. And until 5, she was not able to speak. And when at last she spoke, she stammered. Stammered means difficulty in speaking. Stammered is difficulty in speaking, uttering only a few words or sounds. The other children often made fun of her and mimicked her. As a result, she talked very little. So she stammered and she became an object of fun, and she was being imitated by all her friends. Mimicked her means what? Everybody imitated how she spoke, and this affected the confidence level of the child so bad that she even stopped speaking. Because when she happened to speak, she had to stammer, and when she stammered, everybody made fun of her, and she thought it would be a better idea not to speak. Because she didn't want to be made fun at. Ramlal had 7 children, 3 sons and 4 daughters. So this girl Sulekha, she was born with a number of children. Her father's name is Ramlal, and he had 7 children, of which 3 were sons and 4 were daughters. And typically a family of the olden days, they had too many children. And the youngest of them was Boli. It was a prosperous farmer's household, and there was a plenty to eat and drink. There were 7 children for Ramlal, and Ramlal was a prosperous farmer, which means he was wealthy, he was well-to-do. And this girl was the youngest of the many. All the children except Boli were healthy and strong. The sons had been sent to the city to study in the schools and later in colleges. And this is also a custom of a typical Indian old age society. Yes or no? The male children will be sent to school and colleges, they pursue education, while in the female children, they don't receive proper education. So the boys were sent to school, followed by colleges also. Of the daughters, Radha, the eldest, had already been married. The second daughter, Mangala's marriage, had also been settled, and when that was done, Ramlal would think of the third, Champa. They were good-looking, healthy girls, and it was not difficult to find bridegrooms for them. Now we are now introduced. Regarding the sons, I told you they had been sent to pursue their education. Now coming to the girls part. As usual, girls were set for marriages, and the first daughter is Radha. We said he had 3 sons, 4 daughters, of which the first daughter is Radha. She had already been married. The second daughter was Mangala, whose marriage has been arranged, after which came the Champa. And the last girl was Boli or the Sulekha. And all these girls were healthy, good looking, pretty. So it was not difficult for the father to fetch grooms. But Ramlal was worried about Boli. She had neither good looks nor intelligence. Now after coming, the 3 girls thought was settled. Now coming to Boli, the father was worried because this girl was neither pretty nor intelligent. Both of it were lacking to this girl. Boli was 7 years old when Mangala was married. The same year, a primary school for girls was opened in their village. When Boli was 7 years old, by the time Mangala, the eldest, the second daughter, Radha is the eldest daughter, Mangala is the second daughter. The second daughter's marriage is also done now. And during that time, there was a primary school opened in the village. The Tahsildar Sahib came to perform its opening ceremony. He said to Ramlal, "As a revenue official, you are the representative of the government in the village, and so you must set an example to the villagers. You must send your daughters to school." So the primary school was there, and the opening ceremony was inaugurated. The school was inaugurated by the Tahsildar of the village. And the Tahsildar, he asked Ramlal to set an example, because you are a representative of a government body here. So you must set an example. So he is asking Ramlal to send his daughters to school so that other people also will follow him. Okay, he was a very prominent person. We understand Ramlal was a very prominent person of the place. If he himself is sending the daughters to school, definitely there was a thought that the other people also would be motivated to send their daughters to the school. You must send your daughters to school. That night, when Ramlal consulted his wife, she cried, "Are you crazy? If girls go to school, who will marry them?" And Ramlal is bringing home the topic, and there is a conversation going at his place. And when he is explaining the day's events to his wife, this lady, the wife, a typical Indian wife, she started getting agitated. She was asking, "Have you gone crazy? Have you lost your mind? Who on earth would send the daughters to the school? If they had been sent to school, who will marry?" It was actually like a taboo, in the Indian society to send girls outside. But Ramlal had not the courage to disobey the Tahsildar. At last his wife said, I'll tell you what to do. Send Boli to school. As it is, there is little chance of her getting married with her ugly face and the lack of sense. Let the teachers at the school worry about her. So now they come to a conclusion, and we understand Ramlal is not in a position, okay, to disobey the Tahsildar. He is an higher official, definitely he has to follow his words. So they both are discussing, the husband and wife are sitting for a discussion, and the wife comes out with a good plan. She says, why not send Boli to school? Because the prime object of concern there is, if they are sent to school, they won't be married. And Boli definitely it is a difficult job for them to set her marriage. So they thought it would be a wise idea to send Boli to school, because she is neither pretty nor intelligent. Definitely searching a groom for her is a tough job. So they thought Boli would be the chance for them to just escape the Tahsildar's words. The next day, Ramlal caught Boli by hand and said, come with me, I'll take you to school. Boli was frightened. She did not know what a school was like. So the next day they had planned to send Boli off to school. The next day they are just making the preparation to take Boli to school, and the father is clutching the hand of the girl, asking her to come along with him to the school. And this girl was frightened. Why? Because all along, since her childhood, she was neither given care nor love from the parents. She was always left aloof. Okay, she was always lonely. And all of a sudden, the father is calling her out somewhere. So this girl is becoming frightened because she didn't know what a school was. She has never been in a good relationship with the parent also. So this was a kind of a tension, okay, to the girl. She remembered how a few days ago their old cow Lakshmi had been turned out of the house and sold. So this girl thinks, okay, the father is clutching her and taking her away. So she is afraid that the father might sell this girl, sell her also, because few days ago the cow which was there at a house, that was driven by the father and it was sold. So she worried that she would also be sent somewhere by the father. No, 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 she shouted in terror and pulled her hand away from her father's grip. What's the matter with you, you fool? Shouted Ramlal. I am only taking you to school. So she was in complete terror. So she was clutching, she was slipping away her hand from the father's grip. And she was crying no, that she was not willing to come. And the father is getting angry. He is telling, what is the matter with you, fool? I am just going to take you to the school. I am not going to take you anywhere. Then he told his wife, let her wear some decent clothes today, or else what will the teachers and the other schoolgirls think of us when they see her? Now you can understand how the girl was treated. Only today they have thought of giving her some decent dress, not new dress. They had even come to the concept of giving this girl a decent dress only today. So far you just imagine how the girl would have been treated by her parents. And this also they have decided to do. Why? Because they didn't want others to think how the revenue official has maintained his daughter. Okay, they didn't want that bad name. So that is the purpose of them giving a new dress to Boli. New clothes had never been made for Boli. The old dresses of her sisters were passed on to her. No one cared to mend or wash her clothes. But today she was lucky to receive a clean dress which had shrunk after many washings and no longer fitted Champa. So this is the case of the girl. She was never been handed with new clothes. She was always given the hands-me-down clothes only. Whatever clothes which were not which they could not wear, the sisters could not wear, or worn out clothes, all these things were passed on to Boli. Okay, so now they have found out some Champa's dress and they have given it for Boli. She was even bathed and oil was rubbed into her dry matted hair. So now only today she was receiving a bath. Nobody cared to wash her clothes. Nobody even took care of her. Okay, and only today she was bathed. Only today oil was applied to her hair, The hair had become matted. Matted means if you don't comb your hair, they club together, forming thick strings of hair. So that is called as matted hair. Only then did she begin to believe that she was being taken to a place better than her home. See how pathetic this girl. Only after giving a dress and bathing her, she realized that she is going to go to a better place, because at home she was not even respected at all. She was not even a live thing at her home. And when they gave her decent dress and when they cleaned her up, she was feeling happy that she is going to go to some respectable place where she will be treated as a human being. When they reached the school, the children were already in their classrooms. Ramlal handed over his daughter to the headmistress. Left alone, the poor girl looked about her with a fear-laden eyes. So she has been taken to the school, and by the time everybody had come and settled in the school, and Ramlal, he is introducing his daughter to the headmistress. Left alone, the poor girl looked about her with a fear-laden eyes. There were several rooms, and in each room, girls like her squatted on the mats, reading from books or writing on slates. The headmistress asked Boli to sit down in a corner of one of the classrooms. When Boli came inside, she saw other children. They were doing something. They were reading, writing, and the headmistress was there taking care. She is asking her to go and sit in some corner of the room. Boli did not know what exactly a school was like and what happened there, but she was glad to find so many girls almost of her own age present there. She hoped that one of these girls might become her friend. So she didn't know what a school was like, but she was able to understand that that is a place where children would gather. So she was hoping that she might get some friend, in that place. The lady teacher who was in the class was saying something to the girls about girls, but Boli could not understand nothing. She looked at the pictures on the wall. The colors fascinated her. The horse was brown, just like the horse on which the Tahsildar had come to visit their village. The goat was black, like the goat of the neighbor. The parrot was green, like the parrots she had seen in the mango orchard. And the cow was just like their Lakshmi. The teacher had started teaching, but this girl was able to understand nothing at all what the teacher was saying. She was fascinated. She was attracted to the colorful objects around her. She was able to recognize them easily because she was able to relate. If she saw something green, she was able to relate a parrot. And when she saw a cow, she was able to remember the cow, Lakshmi, of their house. And when she saw a brown horse, she related to the horse on which the Tahsildar came. So this relative space of education was only comfortable for her that time. And suddenly Boli noticed that the teacher was standing by her side, smiling at her. "What's your name, little one?" So when she was doing all these things, the teacher was there beside her, and she came and asked what her name was. She could stammer no further than that. Then she began to cry, and tears flowed from her eyes in a helpless flood. She kept her head down as she sat in her corner, not daring to look up at the girls who she knew were still laughing at her. When the teacher came and asked her name, I told you this girl had a problem of stammering. She was not able to say her name. She was telling Bo Bo, and she was also able to understand that the other children are looking at her and they are making fun of her. So out of shame, what she does, she starts crying. She puts her head down, and she didn't have the courage to look up the teacher and say her name one more time, because she knew the children were still laughing at her. When the school bell rang, all the girls scurried out of the classroom, but Boli dared not to leave her corner. This girl was so depressed and ashamed that she didn't want to leave even after the bell rang in the school. The children scurried. Scurried means what? You would have seen the last bell of the school goes. The children would hurry, they would run rushing away from the school. So that is called as scurried, running away. When all other children ran out of the class, this girl was staying in the corner. Her head still lowered, she kept on sobbing. Boli, the teacher's voice was so soft and soothing. In all her life, she had never been called like that. So this girl, she was still there at the corner, and the teacher comes and calls her Boli, and she was able to hear a very soft, soothing, polite voice. Nobody ever had called her with such a respectful tone. Okay. It touched her heart. Get up, said the teacher. It was not a command, but just a friendly suggestion. Boli got up. Now tell me your name. Sweat broke out of her whole body. Would her stammering tongue again disgrace her? For the sake of this kind woman, however, she decided to make an effort. She had such a soothing voice, she would not laugh at her. So the teacher was so concerned about this girl. She is asking her to get up and try saying her name one more time. And this girl also had the confidence that the teacher would not make fun of her. Why? Because the way she called Boli itself was so soothing and polite and respectful. So she believed that the teacher would not make fun of her. And at least for the sake of the teacher, she wanted to try saying her name. She began to stammer. Well done, the teacher encouraged her. Come on now, the full name? Boli. At last she was able to say it and felt relieved as if it was a great achievement. Well done, the teacher patted her affectionately and said, put the fear out of your heart and you will be able to speak like everyone else. Boli looked up as if to ask, really? Yes, it will be very easy. You just come to school every day. Will you come? Boli nodded. No, say it aloud. Yes. And Boli herself was astonished that she had been able to say it. Didn't I tell you? Now, take this book. So we understand that this teacher is a very encourative teacher. She calls Boli and she is encouraging her to speak out, and she is also assuring the girl that if she came to school every day, she would not stammer, she would also speak like other kids. And this girl felt so relieved, as if it was a great success for her to say her name. So I hope you would have understood this part of the lesson. The remaining part of the lesson will be continued in the other session, children. And before closing, please do subscribe our YouTube channel for more updates. See you, children.